Good evening, Divya.
Good evening, Shilpa.
Thank you for joining us on our channel. On behalf of Women's Day, we want to speak with eminent women leaders who have made a difference, as what we believe. I'll take a quick 2 minute to introduce you to everybody
Sure.
out here. You've been with the corporate for the last 20 years. You're
Yep.
currently working as the executive director. And I'll directly probably jump into the question, how's it been so far?
First of all, thanks for having me
Thank
here,
you.
and it's really nice to share my experiences. Um, the past 20 years, I must say, is like a roller coaster ride.
Okay.
I started off like after my college, just like any other, software engineer, want to do some development and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of opportunities to lead teams, to learn more, and my journey has been really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of mentors, I've had a lot of friends, colleagues who have helped me. Definitely, my family has helped me through this journey.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's I think off late it's very difficult to hear this from a woman, right? Being in the corporate and happily being in the corporate is amazing to know. Could you just tell us a little about the last couple of years as a leader with the current company that you're working with, right? How's it been? How have your people been? How supportive do you think your workplace has been particularly?
I know people call me strange, but actually, work is my stress buster.
Amazing.
Okay, so I like solving problems.
Uh-huh.
I like challenges, and in my organization, the tag I have is that I am put into engagements which are tough, and I'm able to turn them around.
Okay.
So that has kept me going. And the second aspect is definitely people.
Mm-hmm.
I love connecting with people. I like to see them grow, mentor them, and take them through their career path. And so those are the two motivation factors which has helped me. And I think the last definitely 5 to 10 years, a lot of learning, a lot of lessons which I've learned the hard way. Literally like a girl turning to a woman, even in the corporate ladder, there are many things when you start off.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't understand the lay of
True.
land, you don't understand people, you blurt things out, you don't know how to behave, right? And then slowly, through your mistakes, through your experiences, through your learnings, is
Mm-hmm.
where you turn to polish yourself and be a little more sophisticated and try to understand. Because once you grow up the ladder, you are influential. What you say, what you do, how you talk
Mm-hmm.
actually creates an impact for the people around you, and also for yourself, your own branding, right?
Mm.
It matters a lot. So
Okay.
it's tough, but like I said, there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of introspect that you
Mm-hmm.
need to do. And also, luckily I've been with four large organizations that I've worked with. I've seen a lot of leaders, so
Mm.
definitely seeing them, picking from them, learning from them has also helped.
So it's a journey, right?
Yeah,
It's not like
definitely.
you change overnight
Yeah.
and you figure out how to handle yourself overnight, right?
Yes.
Has there been any instance that's made you realize that okay, this is not what I'm supposed to do and this is how I have to be? And has that been a big change? Has there been any instance like that?
Um, yeah, probably when I transitioned from a senior to a manager,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was extremely, extremely emotional with my team.
Okay.
Like, if I know this team member does not like to do this particular task or doesn't like, I think there was once on the floor, I literally had tears in my eyes when we had to push that colleague of mine to do some other thing that he didn't like. So I was so
Mm-hmm.
emotional, but it was immature. At that time, I was emotional, but when I look back now, and the learning from that is, the organization requires you to do certain things, right? And at times, whether you like it or not, you need to support it. And as a leader, those are
Mm.
the tough decisions that you take. So
Hmm.
that uh, the learning from there is what changed for me to step up and not just think about you, your team around, but what's your goal, what's your vision, what's your team's vision, and how do you align yourself and your team as well
Hmm.
to that. So not getting too emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with on the ground activities and how to balance it basically. Emotion is needed. I think that's what women brings into the
Yeah.
workforce. Emotion is a key, but how do you balance it, right? That's a big learning and a big change for me into handling more people, more teams, more tough situations. Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to the emotional
Yeah.
aspect a little later. Uh, so, so, so from a young Divya, right? Someone who's stepped into corporate, who's probably learning to handle herself, to handling teams, and then figure out how do you do things. How has that journey shaped you to what you're today?
Yeah, nice question. So when I joined corporate world, I was not what I am, what you see today at all.
Yes.
I was more like the homely girl. Like
Okay.
I love children, so my goal was get married, have children, and make a home.
Okay.
But I always had this thing in my mind that I'll not totally depend on my husband for anything. I'll work, but I won't have work as everything. My priority will be family. It still is today, but in a little different way. But as I went through both professional and personal, because you cannot disconnect the two. Both run in parallel. What
For a
happens in your
woman, I
personal
think
life, yeah,
it's
affects your
yeah,
professional, and what
true.
happens in your professional work affects your personal life. So um, there were situations where I had to be stronger, I had to be more independent, I had to be more aggressive. So it slowly started shaping me into someone who's able to say no to something, able to prioritize my activities, my choices, my decisions.
So, are you proud of where you are today?
Definitely, from my journey from a college girl to where I am today, 20 years down the lane, I'm very, very proud of what I've achieved, where I am today, and the ability to help others, I think, is it's a blessing. And I really thank God, and I thank my dad. He's my idol, he's my hero. Seeing him, he's a leader in himself wherever he has gone. So a lot of that is I've picked a lot from him. So I'm very proud where I am today.
Okay. So that's like the dad's princess.
Yes.
Lovely. Okay. So a lot of us, when we are part of the corporate, we are often told, keep your personal and professional life separate. You made a statement saying that's not possible, right?
Yeah.
Could you just elaborate a little more on that? I think most of us, most women, believe that we have to keep it separate. So when you're saying you don't have to, I think somebody at your position, when you can, justify that, that will make a lot of difference.
There are two things to it. Definitely, you have to keep your personal and professional life separate when it comes to how you're presenting yourself in
Okay.
your at your workplace,
Okay.
with your colleagues at your workplace. When I say that, whenever you're giving out some information, like when you're at your coffee table or in your meeting, one question you need to ask yourself: what will this information do? Is it needed? Like at times, like I said, women are so emotional, right? We start talking about our in-laws, we start talking about
True.
spouse, kids, and all of that, right? Most of the time, that's not needed, right? Only if they are your close friends, yes, share. Otherwise, there's no need for you to discuss your personal life with your colleagues and at your workplace. There are many, actually, some of the leaders that I have worked with, they don't even accept a friend request like on Facebook or Instagram when they are in that organization. The colleagues, they don't usually accept. They prefer to keep their personal life personal, and their professional life, professional. So you can't go to that extreme, because obviously you make a lot of friends while you're working. But definitely what I would suggest is, don't discuss your personal life with everyone. We do have, I was like that when I was probably younger, and that is a big lesson that I've learned, that nobody is interested to know what is happening in your personal life when you come to work. They are interested to see the role you're playing and what you bring to the table. Now, when I say that personal and professional life is not separate, is the way you are handling yourself, right? Like, you have a set of, like, you get married, you have different activities, different priorities. You have a child, the child grows, every age you have different. So that's what I said. You cannot say that, okay, these 4 hours, I'm not going to look at my family, I'll just do my work. You can't do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's like ups and down. You do this and you do that. Prioritize basically on a day-to-day basis, on an hourly basis for some, for that matter, right? So that's where you cannot keep it separate. In the way you handle yourself, but the way you present yourself, definitely it has to be separate.
So can you give a couple of tips on how you can actually handle yourself when it comes to personal and professional being, at work? I think when we work, in our background, what runs is what's happening at home,
Yeah.
what's happening with kids. I have to go
Yes.
back and do this.
What
I
to
have
cook.
to do what to cook. Yeah,
Yeah.
the question all
Yes,
the time,
what to
right?
cook.
What to cook,
Yeah.
when to give, what's my child doing? Has he or she come back from school? Is there a call, exam? So much more happens. How do we keep ourselves sane with all of this?
So, I think God has blessed women with multitasking, right? The way we do it. And we have to do all of that. I think we won't exist if we do all of that, what you just said, the things that keep on running at the background. But we need to pick the best quality from men of how to be present in that moment, right? When we're having a meeting, when the men walk in, right, they're only thinking of that. How do I impress in this meeting? How do I bring out my best? How do I put out my numbers? And how do I do my best? So that's what we need to learn. Like I said, we keep learning from seeing people. That's one quality that we need to pick from men, where they're completely themselves and they're in the moment there trying to do their best, right? And that's what we need to pick. Though you have multiple things running at the back of your head,
Yes.
understand that there are certain situations and there are certain um, opportunities in life where you need to give in your best, and those situations, I think you need to keep everything aside and give your best. But there are times
Okay.
like, we are in meetings and we are cooking and all of that, so that's anyway,
Part
that's
of
again a
life.
bane and a boon, I would say.
All right. Okay. Um, what's been the biggest challenge for you in all these years?
In terms in the professional world,
In your professional, okay, because we're talking about personal and
personal.
professional handling, what's been the biggest challenge according to you? And like, this has been hard for me. What's that been?
um, like what I told, right? Don't don't bring your personal life to professional world. That has been hard. It took almost initial 7-8 years for me to learn not to do that. Of how you keep out of your emotions. How do you control your emotions in your professional world, and what to say when, how to say. Basically, how you groom yourself as you
Okay.
grow in your professional world. How do you groom yourself? When you're a senior, you interact differently, right? It's more of learning and you're just interacting with probably your lead or your manager. When you get to a manager level, it's like you're interacting with more people. You're responsible and you're also handling others' emotions. Many a times, I think one biggest learning or a challenge is understanding whether someone is telling you the truth or they're
Yes.
playing you,
True.
right? And we women take it so serious. Like, if I'm having a conversation with you now and I go back home, probably I'll run it 100 times in my mind. Did I
Yeah.
tell this right? Did I tell this wrong? Did I hurt you? But a man wouldn't do that most of the time. I'm not generalizing, but most of the time they don't do. So that's another very good character that we can pick up,
So
right?
you think
They're
we
there
need to pick that up, that kind of a character?
to an
Because I think whatever
extent.
you're saying is what a woman actually is, right?
Is, yes.
It's very difficult to undo that and be like the other gender around you. So
Definitely. You
it's very
cannot.
hard.
It's difficult.
And
That's what the balance is, what I'm saying.
yes,
How do you
and
get the
when
balance?
you grow through this phase until probably you are a manager, like what you're saying, when you have to actually handle people, when you reach that, until
Yeah.
you reach that level, it's more of retrospecting what you've done yourself,
Yeah.
right? It's not very easy for women out there, is what I think. But what is your take on, do you feel the corporate is really male dominated?
I think it has been for many, many, many years.
Okay.
But it's changing now because I think organizations are conscious to bring in women leaders and help the mid-level managers to actually get into exec roles, the women especially, there's a lot of effort in that. It still is male dominated, I would say. For example, many men live out of their suitcase, right? They just keep traveling,
Correct.
and everything else is taken care in the house. But as women, even if I have to go probably for an office dinner, I have to ensure that when my daughter
Right.
comes back, who's there at home? Is she fed? What is it? So we are always tied with so many constraints, and fighting against all of that, and balancing all of that, it's very very difficult. We still have a long way to go, but there are a lot of steps taken by organizations to ensure women leaders are growing, and they don't give up on their career, and they support, like,
Okay.
very supportive for women in that.
Okay. So you say there are a lot of steps that are taken. Is the culture really in such a manner that it is very welcoming for women? I'm sure initiatives are there,
Yeah.
no doubts. I think it's out in the open also that this much percent we have women employees, or probably even in the when you climb up the ladder, there are women. I don't deny that at all. But is the culture really accommodative of the fact that there's a woman with you, or are they bringing out this point? We don't want to differentiate. Everybody is equal, so it doesn't matter. Is it getting to that?
I would say 50-50. Rather, still a long way to go to come to a state that, irrespective of with gender, I will. This role is, probably there. Um, Most of the time, it's the women who judge more than men. Again, I'm not generalizing. It's personality. The culture, definitely, we are striving hard from an organization perspective to bring in that culture, irrespective of with gender. We need to see the capabilities and the personality and the skill set. I think it happens more in the mid-level, when someone is between their 8 to 15 years experience. I have experienced where some of the managers, irrespective male, female, they're like, oh, this girl is coming back from wedding. I don't think so she's going to be very, productive in this engagement. Let's not put her in a very heavy engagement. Some people say that, oh, she's just, like in an interview. I've seen a lot of people in interviews, like when we're discussing, right, the panels, they're like, oh, she's just got married, she may get pregnant very soon, then she'll go off on maternity, then do we really have to hire? So there are such discussions where some people have taken a step back in a negative way, but there are situations where we have said, no, nothing doing, it's how can you judge her life? So,
Okay. Wow. Okay.
yeah. So biased, removing the
Yeah.
bias from you, from your experiences, is a big learning. It's a journey again to leadership, because you meet so many different people, you see experiences, and many a times you probably take wrong decisions. You retrospect, then you learn, and you try to take the right decisions after that.
Can you tell the 3 biggest learnings you've had till now in your journey to leadership?
Okay. To leadership, I think one is definitely how you see your own self. First, believe in yourself, right? There are many mentors. Luckily, I had good mentors who believed in me, and you said you can do it, but I doubted myself. The imposter syndrome that every woman goes through. First is believe in yourself, right? Second is how do you it's all about people, right? Once you become a leader, it's all about people. So how do you understand people? How do you judge them? How do you relate to them? The emotional balance with the professional quotient, that's something very difficult for women to understand and balance, right? How do you do that? We'll make a lot of mistakes for sure, but how do you learn from them? And I think the third is you have to be good at what you do. Your skill is the first thing that comes on the table. You could be good at talking, good at writing, or whatever it is, but what are you hired for? And what are you a leader for? Do you have that skill? Keep polishing that. What you did when you were 5 years of experience is not going to get you to when you probably 10, 15 when you become a AD, ED or whatever that is. So every level you keep unlearning and learning new things to fit that role. So the constant learning and constant upgrading of your skill is what is going to help you stay there and grow further.
Okay.
Those are 3 learnings. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Uh, so you said that you've been lucky you had good mentors, right?
Yeah.
How much does this shape a woman's career itself?
I would say a lot, because if someone doesn't talk about you when you're not in the room, you're not recognized, you don't grow. Um, you can be the best at your work, but if someone doesn't acknowledge that and pull you up, then you can't grow. So definitely being a mentor, being a sponsor, having sponsors and mentors is key to growth in any organization.
How do you find the right mentor? Maybe, I mean, not everybody is lucky to
Yeah,
have
it's
good
luck.
set of mentors always, right?
Definitely it's luck,
How do you
and
find?
post that it's also the way you build relationships,
True,
right?
true.
And like I said, you keep showing that you bring the best to the table. It's not that today you do something great, you have a mentor, you have a sponsor, and then you're like relaxed. Okay, I've already, hit the target. That's fine, I can relax. You need to keep running.
Pushing yourself.
You need to keep pushing yourself. You need to keep challenging your own targets and moving ahead. So people should see that yes, she's capable. Yes, she's able to do that. And also a brand like okay, I have this problem. She's the only one who can solve it for me. So you get yourself to that level, you will have a lot of sponsors and mentors.
How do
definitely.
you, what are your, what would you tell people on how to build yourself to that? Like, how does someone do that?
I would say, I mean, this is a very famous line I think we keep telling it to all our teams. Create a brand for yourself, right? Everyone comes with a unique ability, unique skill, unique strength to the team. Someone is very good at handling stakeholders. Someone is very good at uh, pushing, saying no to certain things. Someone is very good at probably in sales or something like that. So um, identify what your strength is and then keep building upon that. And opportunities, right? There are a lot of opportunities. I think where people fall back is they don't grab the opportunity. They wait for someone to come
Tell
and
them.
keep it on your lap, right? So be proactive, grab those opportunities. You can fail, that's fine, but try, right? I've seen many women, probably even men, they don't want to take up something thinking they'll fail. But in my career, there are many things I've taken which have pushed me to a better place because I took the risk and took up those opportunities. I have probably failed in some of them, but it has even taught me a lot.
So you say pick up whatever comes your way, right?
Yes. Pick up the opportunities.
How important is communication in all this? Because identifying your skill is one.
As one.
To be able to put it out there and let people know that I can do this comes with that knack to be able to communicate it in the right manner. You cannot go and tell somebody right on their face that I can do this and then not show it. But there are a lot of people who are capable of doing but are not able to put it out. How can somebody build around this?
I would say it's like how a sculptor keeps, chipping off to get a statue. It's like that, right? Once you know what you're good at, like before that you said communication skill, how important it is, right? Communication skills in multiple levels, I would say. One is definitely the way you speak. Second is the way you understand the other person and what you speak. Like, I think in the corporate world, they do a great job in helping us understand social styles of what is the social style of each person. So, and what is your own social style, and how do you adjust yourself with that particular person, right? How do you modify, balance, change? So, extremely good learnings around that, right? And that helps a lot to shape up to that. And also, like I said, keep looking back, keep retrospecting and learning. Just because you've reached a level, that doesn't mean you stop learning, right? Your job keeps asking you to do different things. Could be you're a very good communication, right, communicator, but negotiation you're not able to do it. So now you have information at your fingertips, right? Read about it. There are a lot of podcasts, there are a lot of TED talks. Look at that. So keep working on yourself is what I would say. That's the only thing that will keep you going.
Okay. Thank you for those tips. I'll move into a little, about your space in leadership. I think we've spoken about how it's been until there, right? So, being in a senior position, I'm sure you come across people across cultures.
Yeah.
It's not just people around you. How do you really handle people when you come across people across cultures, countries, different mindset, different thoughts? It could be your client, it could be your colleague, it could be your leaders, or even your subordinates for that matter. How do you handle this gap?
I think initially we come with a lot of bias. Me too. Even till today, I do have a lot of bias, a certain culture. But it's very, very difficult to keep that bias aside and work along. I think what I do because it's disturbing, right? Sometimes when you have to interact with people, we're not very comfortable. Because you have your own experiences and biases. One thing that I keep telling myself is, this is not going to help you, right? It's not a personal relationship you're having at work. It's work. You've come to do a particular role, just do that and come out. It doesn't matter whom you're interacting with and which culture they belong to. So that constant thought in your head that you've come here for a reason, you have a role to do, you have a task to do, finish that. That helps you push through the bias. But it's difficult. As humans, I think we come with heavy, heavy biases on culture, people. It's tough.
It takes a lot to actually accept it, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for that. So, through your journey of 20 years, you would have come across multiple people. Have you really had instances where someone's made you uncomfortable?
Yes, very subtle, definitely. I think as women, we're not safe anywhere, right?
True.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
So even at workplace, luckily I have not faced anything, a very harsh harassment or abuse or something like that at workplace. But I've had a lot of subtle, signs and things, and I've just blocked myself from there and not let that affect me. There has been instances where, like, when I've discussed this with my leadership, they're like, you have to report it, and I said, again, there are different levels of that, right? At times it doesn't affect you. You know there's something, but nothing is too close to you that you can go, because even when you go and complain or raise something, there should be something substantial and valid. You cannot just go say that I can
True.
feel something, right? So luckily it's just been that much and nothing much. But I have been part of situations where another female colleague has gone through such things, and we have tried to handle it, we have tried to help her and things like that. Yeah, it does happen a lot. And I think organizations are very like the posh policies. It's very, very strong and very serious in that right now. Everywhere we have posters, even in the restrooms we have posters like, a no is a no, and how come up and talk. There are helplines, there are numbers, and there are mentors for specifically women mentors as well, so that people come out and talk and try to, as much as possible, control this. And even if it happens, how do we handle it?
What would you like to tell people who are quiet about it and are going through this? Maybe you're not able to take that step to come and report for various reasons of fear.
Yeah.
Losing a job. It could be your own reporting manager many times.
Yes.
what would you like to tell them?
A very difficult question, because many of them do not want to tell, because ultimately even women are judged,
Yes.
right? If say suppose someone comes up and says, first thing is like, I think she also gave him that space to do it. So I think the first thing that women are scared is because of that comment, right? Maybe she has done something. At times they're like, look at her dressing. Why should she dress up like that? Why should she talk like this? She's such an extrovert. So definitely that fear is there, but I would say you have to speak up, because now there are forums where you can be anonymous also and raise your voice and talk to that particular team. There are means where you can protect yourself and your identity and raise it, where they'll, they can intervene and they can talk, and it nothing should affect you where it's impacting your life, your personal peace when you get into office, and your peace at home, because that's something very disturbing, right? If it's to that level, then definitely you need to raise your voice. And I would say bring up girls. I have a girl. Bring up girls to be bold, where then and there they can, they can give it back and tell that this is not right. Until our girls grow up to that level, I think we need to fight it out.
What's your take on gender harassment when it comes to men and women?
So I know we've been hearing, I mean, it's again very situational. And I wouldn't say that it's only women who are harassed. Men are also harassed in multiple ways. Definitely a lot from their mental health of. Women still have a long way to go, right? Before we say that majority, we see yes, women are harassed, women are abused. Now there are a lot of laws to protect women. Similarly, we see a lot of men as well. I get people in my team. That's the beauty of men, right? They don't really open up. Like a woman would easily come and tell me, my mother-in-law is troubling me, my husband is troubling, I'm not able to work. But a man, I think, doesn't really open up. But you can see where probably, and nowadays we see a lot of men taking more responsibilities at home.
True.
Taking care of sick parents, helping the wife with the kids and all of that, right? Similarly, women also, we see, come up with harassment and these cases, but there are also a set of women who are misusing the support given, misusing um, you know the compassion that we have when someone is on maternity or when they go on leave or they have a new child, right? I spoke about bias, right? There are many women who come and say, I mean, it's totally their choice, but they come and say that I have a child and I want a light project. I don't want a project which is very, long hours. I totally respect that. Probably they don't have enough support at their home and things like that. But these are the things that seed into your mind, telling that next time when another woman comes up and asks you certain things, you'll probably doubt, is it genuine, is it non-genuine, how much do we approve, right? These exceptions. Even work from home, it's been the toughest decision to approve work from home exceptions, where I have women who come and tell me that me and my husband both are going to work. I'm the only one who takes care of my child. So I need work from home. So I told her that if you want your career as well and taking care of your child, you need to talk to your husband and see, at least come for 1 or 2 days, right? So women take it for granted that all of these situations should be handled only by them. At times it's genuine. They take it up, they try to work around it, but we have seen instances where they're faking it. They just don't want to work at times, or they just probably don't want to go the hard way and they want to take it slow. Not many, probably 1 or 2 in 10, I would say, but that impacts the culture around, again the bias sits in the leadership telling that Now, when a woman comes and tells me, is she true or is she fake? So that it's a little tough, very very tough to analyze and understand what's right, what's wrong.
As a leader and as a woman, I think you want to be there for your team, right?
Yeah.
How do you figure out when you get such requests, whether it's genuine, not genuine, whether they're playing around or misusing it, or whether you really need to support them? You could have a team member who is actually very good at work but is asking for something more than what you should ideally approve of, but you don't want to lose the team member.
Yeah.
How do you figure this out and how do you handle this?
See, the thing is, the only way we get to know is if we get some evidence that she's lying.
But you can't ask for that straight
We
away,
can't.
right?
There has been one instance where
Oh.
we had one girl who probably in her third month, she just got know that she's pregnant, and she's like, the doctor has asked me to take a complete bed rest. I should not move. I should not be coming to office and all of that. And we said, okay. The first thing, anybody, whether man, woman, in the leadership level, we'll say, please go, please take care, because we want. I mean, the employee comes first, right? Their well-being comes first. But this, and then she's like, I want a release from the project. This project is very hectic. I don't want to work and all of that. We said, yes, fine. We got HR approvals, and we got her. This was pre-COVID, like when work from home was like completely no. We said, okay, let she work from home for 6 weeks until she comes out of her first trimester and all that. And the next week, I see her back in office, very happy, very hale, very healthy, walking around, talking around, released from the project. So that really hit tricks. Only when something happens, you'll know whether it's right or wrong. Otherwise, you never know whether we don't want to take a chance on someone's health. So these are the places where women take advantage of the privilege, that we have, and put a doubt in people's mind. But the first thing we would say is, go ahead and take care of yourself, right? We will support you. If you want work from home, we support. If you want a little flexi hours, we support. We give utmost support to the women. But yeah, probably we are played around sometimes, which we don't know. Sometimes we get to know.
Okay. Okay. As a woman leader with subordinates or your team members who are men, how has the dynamics been? Have you had people who are not okay with the fact that you're growing up in the ladder as a woman? And how do they treat you? Or have you felt let down? And your own team people, right?
Yeah.
So how has that been?
Definitely that's there,
It's
right?
there, okay.
And also the age plays,
Yes.
right? Sometimes you grow faster than the others. There's someone who's much more elder to you, and probably you're leading them, right? So yeah, it is there. We see a lot of I would say awkward situations where they're not very interested to listen to you. They're like, who the hell is she to come and tell me this and all of that? But I think that's where you use the power of authority, because you're here to do a role, right? You're not here to what to say, resolve personal stuff that's happening around. That's where you need to understand, prioritize your role. If your role needs you to be tough in that situation, be tough, irrespective of whether that person likes it or not. Doesn't matter. The goal of the project or the organization or the engagement or the task you're doing is priority. And whatever you need to do in that, you have to do, whether someone around you likes it or not.
So when you come across people who are not doing what they're supposed to do, what do you do?
I just open up to them. I mean, I don't beat around the bush. I tell them that this is not right what you're doing. I give feedback. I'm known to give honest feedback, right? I'm very very upfront, and I also believe that you give feedback at that time and the right time, and not at the end of the year when your appraisal is there. So I think giving feedback is very very important for both, for the person to grow and for your own self, right? Like tomorrow, nowadays people don't keep just take like, okay, this is your rating. They just don't take that and go.
They ask why.
They ask you why. They ask you why. They ask you instances. They ask you data points. So you need to be really really crisp and clear when you're trying to assess people's work and give them feedback. And it is safe. That's my weapon. it is safe for me when I give them the right feedback,
Hmm.
because I have told them then and there what's right and what's wrong. If they improve, it's great. I see them growing and I grow along with them.
Hmm.
If not, then it's their choice. They want to move on or they want to do something else. We'll support that.
Do you have a particular style of leadership?
I think social style, I'm expressive. I'm very, very expressive. People will know in my tone and in my face that I'm irritated and I'm angry.
Hmm.
Um, my style has been to, I cannot micromanage at all. I just cannot micromanage. So I let it to them, give them the freedom to do in whatever role I've put my team into, and just pitch in wherever they need help. So that has been the best way for me to grow as well, because until and unless you create more leaders, you cannot climb up the ladder. You need to free up the space where you're standing right now
Hmm.
to move up to the next level, and you can free up that space only when you bring in more people to that space. So that has really helped.
So how important do you think it is for women to be financially independent?
I would say it's as important as probably brushing your teeth when you wake up every day. It's extremely important, because look at it this way, right? People get married to be a team. Husband and wife are a team. And most of the time, what we see is women don't even know what is the saving they have or how much money is there, irrespective.
Hmm.
Even working women don't know that, right? So whether you're a working woman or a homemaker, you need to have something of your own for yourself, where you either spend it on yourself or on your family or your kids. Just the feeling of being independent helps you be a better team player in your marriage, because then the whole point of ego, the whole point of trying to do things equally, all that doesn't come in so it doesn't clash to that level. The more independent, the more free, and the more I would say happy a woman is, I think that marriage will be a successful marriage. And financial independence is one component to that, right? I know so many women who, even for a 10 rupees, they'll have to go ask the husband.
Hmm.
And they may not show it, but they're actually literally sulking inside as to why. And another thing, what happens is, you get married young, probably in your 20s, and you're all joshed up to take care of your kids. You want to give away your work. I mean, I'm not generalizing. I don't want to, hurting nobody's feelings. But what usually happens is, after the children grow up to a level, then you're left like, abandoned.
Hmm.
You don't know what to do in your life. You see your other, probably your friends, probably doing well in their career, and you're lost.
Hmm.
I think that's where, if you have that financial independence for yourself, probably you'll try to do something, work on your passion, or do so many things, right? Decision making,
Hmm.
basically. So, women have to be financially independent.
What are your thoughts on women being supportive of women in this world?
Again, it's a 50-50. We see both, right? Where some women have gone through so much and they want to give it back. I'm associated with, I've interacted with a lot of NGOs, and I've seen women run it. They want to protect other women. They don't want other women to go through. Even in my office, we see a lot of women supporting other women in terms of trying to upgrade their skills, trying to give them flexibility, understanding, and all of that. But on the flip side, you also see where women are the biggest enemies of women, right? Women judge you the most, because what I told, right, that time, when a man comes into the room, right, he has only one or two agenda in his mind. He's not really thinking of too many things. But when you're interacting with the women, there are 100 things running in her mind, right? And also the fact that because they've got it the hard way out, and they have struggled to come till here. And when they see somebody else getting it easily, they start judging. Is she really worth it? Has she got it the easy way out? I don't think so. She has that skill set. I don't think so. She has it in her. She's just got it because she talks to people or she dresses well or something like that. We see a lot of harassment from women to women as well in the corporate world. A lot of that happens, and it's the truth. And like I said, it's no more like a man or a woman. It's a personality, right, of how you are and how you're handling situations. And we do see both sides.
Okay. At the end of the day, I think work speaks.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you just have to
yes.
keep
Skill.
going. Your skill
skill.
speaks,
Yes.
and I think you sustain if you have the skill.
Yeah.
Either ways, whether you're part of the harassment,
Or not,
being
yes.
abused, not, whatever it is, your work speaks,
Yeah.
right? So, all along these years, how have you handled your life on the personal front as well? I'm sure you've had a lot of stress when it comes to working long hours. This space is not women friendly. No
Yeah.
one's going to look at the fact that you're a woman. You need to look at things back home. And I think it's also reached a point where oh, I should not do this. I
Yeah.
should not give her the extra space because she's a woman.
Yeah.
She's in a certain role. She is expected to do certain things a certain way.
Yes.
So how have you handled yourself at the family front, and how do you balance all of it?
I must say it's difficult. It's still difficult.
I'm sure.
I would say prioritizing, right? There are a lot of opportunity. Like on a day-to-day basis, there's a lot of opportunities that comes to you. Certain opportunities require you to be more at your workplace. If you can do it, great. If not, choose. Take different options. Like, for example, if tomorrow they tell me that I have to travel somewhere for a week or two, I won't be able to do that because I have a daughter and she needs me. Probably 2 days is the max I can leave her and go. So opportunities which requires me to travel long days, I usually do not pick those opportunities. Again, that's where skill comes in. There are many things where I have achieved just by sitting in office, sitting at home and not traveling, giving your best to whatever you do. Honest and really work hard. People see it, right? So even though you have not actually been there, presented that, but people have seen your work and you're rewarded for that. I mean, I would say it's you keep choosing what you want to do. Women, I think, have always been like, my house, I want the curtains to be perfect. Okay, I want everything to be perfect. The kitchen should be like this. You take a lot of load on you to be a perfectionist everywhere you are, even at work, with kids, with your home, basically, right? Some may draw a line as to how much of a perfectionist you want to be, in which task, right? Like take it easy on yourself. You don't have to do everything. There are certain things you can outsource. Like if you can't cook the way you want to cook every day, keep a cook. Those 1 or 2 hours, probably you take it for your own self to take care of your health, or you have a lot of work, you do work. It's only when you want to do everything together and everything to 100% is where you break. So that's the balance of how you prioritize things between personal and professional. And I had a leader from America, like that's another culture shock, right? We think only Indians, we face all this is the same.
Yes.
I think women are same everywhere. And she told me that one of the big changes that she did for herself was she saw her mom. She grew up seeing her mom that the curtains in the house have to be like crisp and clean, and always, every occasion it has to change, right? You get new curtains washed. So she tried to do that initially of her career. She's like, what am I doing? I mean, why do I need this? It's not needed, right? That is taking so much of my time. So she changed herself. She changed her mindset. She changed the way she does things in her house. It has helped her in her both personal and professional life. So there are a lot of things I think women pick up, overburden ourselves.
So
Take
you're
it easy.
saying take it easy
Yes.
and do what it takes
Yes.
to keep your life
Yeah.
easier.
Everyday priorities are different. So prioritize. And definitely prioritize your health, right?
A
And
lot of
your
us overlook
mental
that.
and physical health. Very, very important. Very, very, very important. Especially, going for a walk or going to the gym. I hear girls say that, no, I cannot, there's too much of work at home. I'm like, just leave one thing. Don't clean something one day. Take, take the time off for yourself. It's very important. You can't function otherwise.
That's a big message,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Okay, I want to ask you, move to a more beautiful
Yeah.
side of you. Um, you've adopted your daughter.
Yeah. Yes.
So, what made you take that decision?
Obviously, I mean, because issues due to
You're okay to
not,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
it, right? Yeah.
not being able to, blessed to have my own. But I think that's the biggest blessing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got Natalia in my life. Um, when people get to know that I've adopted, they feel I've done a great thing. Actually, I think it's the other way. It's the child who does a great thing for you. There are a
Okay.
lot of children. There are a lot of children in this world who need parents, and there are parents who want children, right? It's a child who changes you. She has done everything for me. She has given me a purpose to live. I got her after my 11 years of marriage. So she changed every. Like I said, right? I after my college, my career was there, but being a mother was my utmost goal of life. And I think that's where I fell in love with her the second I carried her.
Okay.
So I would say that I would say to everyone, right? It's not the adoptive parent who's great; it's the child who's great, who changes. And her pediatric doctor always used to say that they are special children of God. God always has a special eye on them. No matter where they are, they'll blossom. Okay, you are lucky to get the child, right? Yeah. So I always tell my daughter, I always carried you in my heart. I got my daughter in 2015. She was born in 2014, but in 2008, I had a suitcase of clothes, girls' clothes, pamper, clothes, bottle, everything. I had already visioned her as to what my daughter will be, like my child. So she was already born in my heart long, long, long back. It's just that God delivered her to me 11 years after this one. I only keep praying that she should be strong.
I'm sure she will. But yeah, beautiful. So, when you adopted your daughter, how did the corporate adjust to your, changes?
I would say they were very, very supportive. Like, because during adoption, you never know when it actually works, right? Because I know many people who have got calls and it has not worked out. For me, first call, I saw her, I fell in love with her, and it all worked out, thankfully. So it's like you call into office all of a sudden and you say that, hey, look, from next week I can't come, which means you have a lot of responsibilities. How do you get a backfill and handle all of that? So extremely supportive. My managers then were very, very supportive. I got adoption leave is only 20 days anyway. I've raised that. It's very sad that that law has to change. 20 days is not enough to handle a child. It's as good as bringing a newborn baby, right? But then I had 3 months work from home as well, and from when she's 8 months to 2 years, I took her to office with me every day with a nanny. You have to bring your nanny with you and get your stuff, but I used to go and feed her during the lunchtime and take her for a walk in the evenings, and I could even work late. Like if I had calls 8, 9, so I had to get her dinner as well. So many times she has attended calls with me, like in office. She used to come to my desk. She used to sit in the meeting rooms. She used to write on the board. So yes, they are very supportive of working mothers.
So your maternity leave policies don't apply here, but how long a duration is usually
4 months. Adoption leave is only 20 days at least now. I don't
and
know
that's what
whether
you
it has
suggest
changed.
should
I was
get
suggesting
more.
that they change it because it's unfair. There's no difference
Absolutely.
to a mother whether you're an adoptive mother or a biological mother. It's the same challenges.
Thank you for being so bold. Choosing to be so strong. It takes a lot to be where you are, right? Thank you so much for that. What's that one message that you want to give women out there who are probably struggling in their career, not knowing what to do, and aspire to be leaders one day? What's your message for them?
I would do it in a little slightly different way. It's not just for people like us who are privileged to study, get into the corporate world, lead. We do have our challenges. I also would love to talk about all the other women we see, the maids who help us, people working in construction sites, people, I think they struggle more. They are leaders actually.
True.
The abuse they go through, the harassment, they don't have financial support, they don't have physical support from the husbands. You see them fighting. What I would request privileged leaders like us, help such women, bring them up, help them bring their children, give back to the society is what I would say. Because I am blessed. I had a father as a hero who brought us up so well, and the opportunities I've got. God has been really, really merciful to me to help me traverse through all the difficult situations, made me strong, brought me here. Like this, there are so many women who have come up. It's not easy to climb up the ladder. All I would request them to say is give back, help the other women, right? Probably 2% of them are faking it, but there are the other 8% who need your help. Help people grow, help women grow, irrespective of corporate, non-corporate. Help other women and give back. We need to make more leaders. Yeah.
Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Wonderful conversation. I was not expecting a lot of things, but thank you.
Thanks
for
a
being
lot
so
for
candid.
having me here, and
Thank you.
it was very nice having a conversation with very, very comfortable talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divya.